Long time. I didn't write it down.
Sorry, I didn't send the minutes out to you ahead of time, but they're in attached.
Okay, have you all had opportunity to review the minutes of the June 2010?
Did I? Oh, okay. Believe me, it's a file.
Are there any corrections to the minutes? If not, does someone want to move approval as presented?
Move the city approved.
Second? Nobody's going to second it?
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. It's a June regular meeting. Do we have any citizens? No, we have no citizens. Until no citizen comments. So that takes us on to the library director report.
So, in your packet, you will find copies of several different things, so we'll just walk through this. First of all, let me see if I can find my notes here. David, I was able to do some investigating for you on a number of actual card holders in Oregon City. And one of the statistic page that will take this has residence area, user category 1 on it. Okay? And if you go down, you will see that Oregon City user library all 12,965. So but hold on. This is from, let me look at this, I haven't read it recently. The left-hand vertical column, user category 1, shows where they live, and the transverse column shows where they originally got their library card. So it looks like in total, Oregon City has 18,627 current patrons.
Where you get that number from?
She added them all together.
Oh, there's 12,965 as it reads here on the
Right.
paper.
I know, but you're supposed to read across.
You're adding all the other ones.
You're adding all the other ones, apparently. That's the
That's how many people from Oregon City.
Yeah, that was like 12,000 roughly.
No, that's how many people from Oregon City have cards that were issued from every library in the county.
Well, no, what
If
he's
you
saying when you look
down,
when you.
It looks like you had the 10,000 and all the little ones
Yeah.
to get up to 12,000.
965, that's about right.
But what she said, which I didn't think to question at the time, it says, so the left-hand vertical user category 1 column shows where they live, and the transverse column show where they originally got their library cards, or subsequently asked library staff to change their library too.
So we issued 18,627 cards, but we have 12,965 residents who hold a library card. So we've got 6,000 almost outside the city.
I got
More than 6,000. I was the opposite.
unincorporated is
That's the one I
50%.
emailed you.
Yeah, okay.
So according to her, we on this email, we have 10,301 residents of the city of Oregon City who are card holders. Okay, and probably Dennis said probably a good many of the 6,824 unincorporated residents, but since unincorporated is not broken down by service area, we can't tell for sure. Okay, so that's a statistic that's still elusive. But according to her, 10,301 residents of Oregon City out of the almost 30,000 people that we have are card holders. So that's about 1/3, which is pretty good, actually. That's pretty good. So, yeah, so from the attached spreadsheet, we can see that 12,965 people who live in City of Oregon City have library cards, and 10,301 of them have Oregon City as their registered library. The rest either got their card somewhere else or have asked that their library code be changed to something other than OC. So like a lot of people may have registered here, but then started using Wesleyan or something like that and changed over to that, or whatever. So yeah, and this will actually change because, well, not just because it's a fluid number, but also because we're purging some of our paid bills that are long taken care of, and that kind of will upset the numbers in there a little bit. You know how everything in a database like affects something else in the database, you know, so.
The thing is that what they have is the database has actual addresses for all the patrons. And that's what I was really looking at, is how many people we have who have cards are living in our service area. Because of course, you know, there will be people who will be using Milwaukee,
Sure.
because it's convenient for them on the way to work and that kind of thing downtown.
Absolutely.
So
Well,
they,
that's-
even though they're
yeah.
in our service area and they hold a card, they're not checking books out of Oregon City
Right,
necessarily.
and that's impossible to track, really. But that's the beauty of the county-wide system, too, you know, so, yeah. Okay, so David, I may not be able to explain it very well, but damn it, I looked into it.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate
You're
it.
very welcome. And I can drill down further on some of these things, because these guys at Network are really, really helpful, like I was telling Chris, so they're great, I just need to like ask, and they will provide a lot. So then the next one that I wanted you to see is the distribution to cities and the fiscal year. So this is the past fiscal year that's now completely over. And our total was $1,687,286. What I didn't do was look up what our projected was, but I can tell you it was a little bit less. And next year's will be a little bit less from the original projection. It will still be very good compared to before. But we've added Tualatin residents, and that upset the mix just a little bit. The Tualatin people in Clackamas County were added in. So that upset the formula just a little bit. And then,
So county libraries, the central staff, where it says county library on the top,
mhm.
2.5 million. Is that what that is? Or does that mean all the county libraries?
Well, you can see from the numbers that we get total cities. Well, Library Network is actually where the staff is that I
Well,
work
they
with, and they have like 0 in there.
right.
So I don't know exactly how that.
That would be the town center and the ones they still run, wouldn't it?
Right, that's what
Yeah,
it should be.
that would be town
Yeah.
center, I would think, because I don't see,
Town Center and Oak Grove.
Right,
Oak
here
Grove.
either.
Town
yeah,
center,
it's not in the
Grove.
list, so it must be, yeah.
But that's an awful lot of money that they get for those two libraries, considering the size of the populations that are in those areas.
Good River?
Oh, not for the town center one.
Centers-
Hobbit River, Woodland.
Town center, Sir County Valley, and all of it.
That's part
All
of
places, you
Woodland.
know.
Oh,
Okay. Hood River Library is actually just.
oh, yeah, same like
Woodland,
Woodland, yeah.
Mm.
not Hood River, we don't go that far.
Anyway, so we got 3 distributions throughout the year. As you know, they kind of start late because the taxes have to be collected and then blah, blah, blah. And so it's always just an estimate because we're dealing with like the current year. We're, you know, not a year behind kind of thing. So, you know, all we can do is kind of project. But I thought you might be interested in seeing that for the year. And then,
how come they don't match?
huh?
How come they don't match?
It doesn't match.
The maximum and the total?
Yeah.
Is an estimate and was reality? It's a per worksheet, so that would be the estimated distribution.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of it would be the actual distribution.
So
So
we
they
didn't get as
projected
much as we were
1,981.
That's what I said. We did not get as much as we were, and we thought.
Nobody did.
Nobody did, yeah. Everybody got just a little bit less.
But it's not
Could that be possibly not as much taxes were collected because of the
other
economy?
reason. Yeah, that's the other
Probably.
reason, yeah. So then when I was poking around in this little module, just because I ran into this unexpected report, which actually told me, which is kind of convenient, because Nancy Hyde was asking about the value of the collection, because for insurance purposes, now the version wanted to make sure it was all copacetic and everything. So, what I discovered is that, we have 96,160 titles, and we have 119,751 copies. So obviously multiple copies of certain titles. And of those, 92,368 items are shadowed at this time. That's in storage. So that's 77% of our collection is in storage, which is right about what I told you guys, that we would have about 20% at the Carnegie. Yeah. And the collection value is, and I don't know how this is figured, so I didn't have time to ask, $2,173,154.64.
And 64 cents.
Yeah.
Good news.
Yeah. So I, like I said, I don't know what that's actually based on, but it was interesting. It made me feel really good because Nancy I called me the other day and she said, just give me a quick guesstimate of like, you know, what you think the collection is worth. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's see, hardbacks are usually this much, paperbacks are usually this much, and I came up with $2 million. Yeah, pretty good, huh? So anyway, I thought it was real interesting to know that 92,000 items were shadowed. That's a lot, but it's helpful if anybody's ever interested in that kind of thing. The Carnegie really, and obviously we could put more books in the Carnegie. We all know that. I've been told that 100 times now. But we would, never have very much of our collection in there. So, okay, so there's that stuff. And then last month I gave you statistics, but it was pretty much what came directly from Network. So I wanted to go back and do the May statistics just like always, so that we have like a full year. So I just have that there. And then we have the statistics for June and a little report. And I wanted to, since I had this current fiscal year to date and it was the end of June, I just thought I'd look at the totals and see what the difference was between this year and last year and see what we've improved. And so the current year is yellow, as you can see, and then the difference between this year and last year is blue. It's a little bit hard to see on. Sorry about that. And generally speaking, we did more, which we should have done more because we were open more hours. And I didn't actually go back and figure out the percentages or anything like that. I didn't have time to do that, but I could. And I think it's just really great that at least things are going in that growing direction. And it will be really interesting now to see what happens for this coming year.
Why did the time in the patrons assisted in reference?
I don't know.
Maybe they could find stuff.
Maybe they were tracking it differently somehow, just a little bit. Just those variations. Or Sue used to be the person in reference the previous year, and then she moved to children's, and all of a sudden you see this huge growth in statistics in children's.
People moved. It's familiar faces shows you.
Well, and also maybe she's just really good at tracking what she's like. And so, what I'd like to know is are those really valid things that we're tracking anyway? So, because Linda would tell me, well, I think every time they ask somebody asks where's the bathroom is, they mark it as a reference question. I'm like, oh my God, don't let them do that, Linda has some control over your staff. So I just, we're trying to clean that up just a little bit, but we're tracking that now at all of our service desks so that we can kind of see what activity is happening. Since now at children's we do checkouts as what we didn't do that ever before, and we're doing holds at all the desks, and we didn't ever do that before. So it's a little bit different. So we're tracking that to see what the traffic looks like. And since my office is right there, and I can hear everything, I can kind of through the activity that goes on here, which is actually helpful.
Well, presumably the reference will be, a fraction of what it has been. I've been to the new library because there's not much of a collection in there. So
but people ask so many questions about online stuff, and then even if we don't have it, we still might be able to find a answer online or direct them to another library or something. Yeah, I haven't seen those guys very slow actually. So it will be very interesting to see though. Yeah, and then another thing that I thought I'd share with you guys. Let's see, how many days is that? We have a new self-check. So people can check books out and set out to themselves, which is a whole learning thing on how to set that up to make it explainable to people and stuff like that. And so one of our network people said, I can run a report on that. And I'm like, you do. And so he ran a report and we found out that in like, I forget the date, but I believe it was from the day we opened until July 1st, which was 9 days, we had 1,800 checkouts.
Wow.
Which is a
On
lot.
the self-check?
On the self-check alone, which is a lot. I think that's pretty good success, you know, for like a whole brand new tool that people aren't used to using.
When you have to know your password.
Yeah,
I
we
have
do.
remembered mine.
Have to know your password. Yeah, there's lots of times that we ask you for that in there. So anyway, then let's see on my little activity report. So we moved, we got our full deposit back. Woo! $5,000. That's always nice. We opened on the 21st, as you know. Story time resumed. The way I wrote this was like I was actually writing it in June. It already resumed on July 8th. And then summer reading started up. And we actually have more participation than we thought. We have like 420 children and 100, is that right? 124 teens, which is way more than we thought. And the programs have been not as attentive as well as last year, but they're growing each time. So that's good.
Do you think that some of that's because you're holding off registration until you get in the new building?
And then, well, yeah, I can tell you that at other libraries, their registration's way high, sky high. Because at our last director's meeting, they all looked at me and said, "Thank you, Mo. Thank you very much for calling."
Oh, I see.
I'm like, "Yeah, whatever, guys. Up to your numbers for the year." So, like, especially like Westland, huge numbers.
Is there any feedback because it's in a different building than the library?
People had to get used to the idea of having programming at Pioneer Center. Like the first day, they came in expecting it to be there. When we said it's over there, a lot of them were kind of like they just hung out at the Carnegie, which was fine, but then they missed the programming. They were just reluctant to go over there for whatever reasons. So, I mean,
But then they went the next week.
I don't know. I mean, the people who came might have been different people from last year, or I don't know. Sue says she's seeing different people at story time because it's a little bit different times.
Or walking.
Well, maybe, but it's a little bit at different times than it used to be up there, and so these times may not work for the same crowd as when before.
But you've got a lot of young families around here that are walkers that are probably accessing who weren't before.
Yeah, that's true. That building is pretty, it's relatively busy. It's good. There's a lot of foot traffic in there.
And then is there a place for the parents while the kids are story time over at Pioneer?
Story times are in the Carnegie. The summer reading programs are at
Summer meeting, but is there a place for them?
What, at the story time?
At the Pioneer.
I don't know. I haven't been over there. I mean, I think they just sit there and participate mostly. Yeah.
And they did before, did they?
I don't know what they did. I don't know what they did.
Did you?
Yeah, the currently issue there. She has to search it.
I know I've been in the library lots of times and parents are all over.
No, but during the program, the parents are usually there. I like to watch the clown and some of the other things.
The Kyle man is huge.
I like
Hugely
that.
popular.
And the parents are
Yeah.
usually right there.
So, in June, as you know, the volunteers from the Church of Latter-day Saints came and helped us, and they volunteered a remarkable 383 hours by 181 people. It was intense. Like, I learned a whole new skill set of, like, managing groups more, like, ahead of you in the ready-to-go game, you know? I was like, oh, you guys, you're going a little faster than I'm ready for. So in June, we logged 524 volunteer hours, which is, like, huge. It still didn't get us up to where we were last year, and I don't know what's happened to the volunteers up there. I came and people left.
Well, they hired some volunteers.
Well, that's true. Dave and Liz. Yeah, that's true. So that could be part of it right there. And then Jeannie had a hip surgery or knee surgery or whatever for a long time.
Yeah.
They kept her out. So she's one of the major people. So that was awesome. And we are going to recognize those Mormon volunteers. It was going to be at the next city commission meeting, but the next city commission meeting, which was going to be next week, but it got canceled and moved to August the 4th. So we're going to recognize them, and Alice really wants to recognize Danielson's as well. So we're putting together a little something that just says thanks for not keeping us out earlier. you know, you really wanted to. They did. And they kept us, so that was really good. So it all worked well. So the crafts are canceled though. Whatever craft thing we did, which is fine with me for now. Just not enough room for all that. Kind of mess down there. And there's no family story times for the summer, and I'm not sure they were very well attended anyway. I think it was pretty spotty. So when we do resume that, we can do a little bit better job on programming, I think.
That may be better to be.
At that location, yeah. And then, applied to have the Poet Laureate of Oregon come do a program for us, and I was awarded that application, whatever. It wasn't really a grant, it was just kind of like, you know, a selection thing. And, she just came today, because we wanted to look at the space together to decide if we could actually have it in the Carnegie, and she's just like oohing and eyeing over the building. She's so excited to do it there. So we still haven't settled on the date, but hopefully it will be sometime in September. So that will be like our first big program for at the Carnegie. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll be really nice. Because we'll have it after we close, like hopefully on a Thursday night or something, so we can not have business going on. Sure, why not? Not have business going on, so we can have it nice and quiet, and it can just be focused on the poetry. And we're just gonna have it right around the fireplace. We can move the magazine racks, which are the only visual problem right in that area, and then bring in more chairs. I think it'll be very cozy and nice.
Given that you're trying that in the task force recommendation, have you thought maybe about doing some of the Chautauqua series?
Well, I haven't, but only just because I've been busy, because libraries always do Chautauqua stuff.
We haven't.
Really?
The friends kind of thought about doing it. We've been getting the catalog, and we've just never pulled anything
Well,
together.
we should look at the catalog and see if there's something that we all would like to read. Yeah.
That's kind of a nice.
It's a really cool program.
They really are, and that brings in some of that cultural that
Yeah.
the community
Yeah.
appears to want out of there. So
Absolutely. So let's just talk about the Carnegie in general. We're in that stage, which is still a transition stage. It's like you think you moved in, but you're not really moved in, and you so want to be moved in, but you're just not quite there. So we're still having to, you know, order things to fit in here, to fit in there, to get this, to get that. You know, the safety equipment's not exactly set up right, the little staff safety board. So we're having our safety inspections from the safety committee next Tuesday, so that'll all be in place by then. And just little things, you know, people come in and they say, how come you have more books here? And we're like, you know, we thought we had this planned correctly, but all the books that we decided to keep are the kind that don't stay on the shelf, frankly. And so, would it make you, you know, it's kind of like you want to say to people, would it make you feel better just have something sitting on the shelf if you're not going to check it out? I mean, that's kind of what's going on, but on the other hand, it's like, it really would make them feel better. So, we're in the process. Linda's been ordering her little heart out, and we kind of knew we'd have to do this, but just not to this degree. We're in the process of ordering things like the best 100 books, novels you should read, the best 100 travel books, the best, you know, the classics that people feel good seeing, and then maybe they will check it out because it's there, you know. But whatever, we know that we need to replace some of our classics, but those usually get in really bad condition anyway. So you can never go wrong by replacing those.
we were always missing a lot, so that would actually enhance.
Yeah, it would be good.
They're not in storage.
Yeah, probably not. So we're in the process of doing that, and then as of today, we stopped boxing things for storage, and we're just going to start filling up the shelves and see how long that takes. You know, because we kind of had this thing in our mind where we were still putting in storage the books that were older than like 3 years that weren't, you know, classic titles or whatever, real popular titles. So.
Well, is there a system where you run any sort of report that shows what people are ordering through links? Yeah, because I know, you know, clearly with
Really good idea.
the library not having much selection here, that's what I've been doing. And with some of the books, you can see you're 20 spaces down, and there's 10 copies throughout the system.
Yep.
Well, 200 out of 500.
What's that?
3 out of 5.
You like a popular book.
Yeah, I know somebody came in off the street today and asked for The Girl Who Played with Fire, and I just like was kind of snickering behind my desk because, you know, it's not, you know, it's just, we just can't buy enough copies of titles like that. But that's a good idea, just to see what they are ordering. When we first got there, we were surprised. These kids started showing up and saying, "This is my summer reading list." And, you know, where is it? I mean, kind of like their teacher had said, go to the library and you'll find it. And I'm like, not a big library, can't help you today, you know? And of course, then we couldn't help them really at all because some of those kids need to really get started on stuff. So, it felt really bad not to be able to help people, but more people have gotten into the whole like routine really, really well. And now that they can pick them up themselves, that people are okay with that too.
I think it's a great system.
Good. It was a little messy at first.
It also prevents you from buying 500 copies of Girl Who Played with Fire, and then when the book is off,
I know, what do you do with all those things? Yeah, you just don't need that many.
give them to the sex.
Yeah.
Adam's stubborn twig and crescent.
No, exactly. And so we're adding to the regular collection, we're adding more YA, because that looked pretty sad after we got there. But it always has looked sad, you know what I mean? So we really need to beef that up at Eastham. We really need to do a good job with that. And then we pulled out, we had some books in storage at the Friends in gardening, so we pulled those out. And it was kind of sad to me is like how they quickly fill up boxes, but they don't quickly fill up shelves. You know, it was surprising, you know, because we thought we had a lot. And it didn't fill that many shelves for some reason, but a lot of them might have checked out. We pulled biographies out to the front because we didn't have very much nonfiction space in the back. And that's kind of, people use fiction, biographies a little bit differently than the rest of nonfiction. You know, it's almost like fiction. Almost, yeah. And then we pulled out travel into the front just because it's that time of year. And so we're kind of in the business of rearranging. Also, Linda started creating the Lucky Day collection that I told you guys about before. So that will be things like the girl with the dragon tattoo and stuff, but maybe if that woman would have walked in, that might have been there. You know, if we do the Lucky Day collection like that, you cannot place holds on these titles. You have to come to the library and see what's there. And I think that will go over really big. Yeah, I think it'll be really fun. So,
This is your lucky day? It's
there, yeah. And we're going to use Shamrock stickers on them to like bring home the plank. Yeah. So all of that's in the works, and it's pretty fun. I mean, you know, people like, now that they've seen it, I mean, they kind of walk in and they go, oh my God, I love being back in this building. You know, it reminds me of such and such back in the day. Or, oh, this is just such a beautiful building. Or the other thing we hear is, oh my God, there's nothing here. You know? So it's either like they really love it or they really don't like it at all. But for us, for staff, it's a beautiful building to be in, although it has its challenges because it's smaller, we're more cramped. And there were systems that were not working when we came in. So for instance, like the HVAC, the air conditioner was not turned on the roof. You know, no big deal to fix, except that it took us like 5 days to figure out that the fan was blowing hot air on us, you know. So there's just a few little, there's actually more than a few little maintenance things that had not been done over the years because nobody was there or the people who were there before didn't do it. And so it's not turning out to be extravagantly expensive, but what with all the electrical wiring that needed to be done, you know, we're definitely improving the building. I feel like the library is not making it worse. We're definitely improving it. So I think that's good.
How have your concerns played out over the use of the downstairs bathroom, the downstairs space from park traffic and from the water park?
No, the water park is closed. They're not opening it.
All right.
So it's been fine.
And it's not her fault.
Yeah, it's not my fault.
Why are they not opening it?
Because the surface has eroded over time. And it's pretty rough, and also it's very slippery. And so it used to be a wading pool, and it was like, I guess, fine for a wading pool, but the way it's now designed it's used as a spray park, the slope just does not work at all. So it makes people slip and fall and hurt themselves. And then they land on this really rough surface. It's happened a few times. So the risk assessment people of the insurance company said, So we were here at the work session last night with City Commission, and Scott Archer was explaining, you know, you can go against what the risk assessment people say, but here's what they say. So they're gonna be working on a plan to resurface it for next year, which they actually already had 2 years ago, but the neighborhood association didn't want it, so. Now it's like it's kind of a have-to thing.
It was just bad timing that we moved in and they realized they shouldn't turn it on.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, everybody's been fine to us. Whatever they're saying to you, they're not saying it to me, so that's fine.
Good.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's too bad. Yeah. But like, you know, just little things like signage, you know, Denise Pye is getting a sign made for us, post at the corner of the building where the new book drop is, that, you know, just says, accessible ramp, no skateboarding, no scooters, no bikes. Because, you know, this building was like a play toy for all the kids for the last few years. They just crawled all over it. So it's just a matter of, you know, us communicating a little bit of those needs, you know, to people.
Yeah, we should find a brass restoration expert to get the handprint off the dedication plaque.
Okay?
Yes. As long as
Yeah.
they're doing little maintenance.
Yeah,
things.
little maintenance things. Goodness.
Still appalls me.
I'll have to go look at it. I'll have to go look at it.
The front corner on the beautiful brass plaque, a little parting gift from the former tenant.
They have something on their hand and leaned up against
White
it.
paint.
Oh,
Just
gosh.
beautiful white paint and print and
Have people stopped using the air vent for,
Yeah, yeah. The first day, some people used the air vent and stuff some books in, which was so funny because then I talked to a friend and it turned out that she grew up in Oregon City and she told me the story of how her mother did that once with her books that she returned and you know they got like this overdue notice and she said, Mom, didn't you return my books? And she said, yes, I did. I put it, you know, right in the book drop and they finally figured out she put them in the air vent. There they were. So,
your new book drop looks beautiful.
thank you. It's not the one we ordered, but originally, but
Looks lovely.
yeah, thank you. We're trying to make these decisions. Like, we didn't have an outdoor book drop up there, so it's like all of a sudden we're faced with sending somebody out to empty the book drop during the day, you know. And when you stop and think about it, it's like this huge, not huge drain, but it's like staff resources have to go outside and then leave whatever desk they're working at.
it's great for a volunteer. Great for a volunteer.
Well, or we could require people to come inside while we're open. You know, different libraries can handle it in different ways. So we have to start making some decisions like that we just didn't even realize we would be faced with, you know? We just didn't, you can't kind of think through things that far, you know? So it's just interesting because they keep on popping up, you know? Yeah. But it's good. And I think that, boy, as a project to prepare for Eastham, wow, this is a great little project to just kind of get your wheels turning about moving into a different building and what you need and how you do things. And, you know, so like, we're definitely having signage before we move in, and we're definitely having maps of the building made to hand out to people before we move in. I mean, there's just like, it was okay here because it's small, you know, but there's just, in a bigger building, there will be a lot more needs that really will have to be taken care of well ahead of time. So.
Do I do that as a segue into the next item, library
Sure,
facility
why
planning?
not? So, library facility planning, we are pretty much where we were last month. The school district finally returned the deed of trust and the promissory note to our attorneys. He still wanted to make some changes because he thought the school district language was just way too over the top. So those tweaks have been sent back, and I just was CC'd on email today. That was the, you know, important, emphatic email saying, please, can we address this week? We really want to get these signed by this week. So they're trying. In the meantime, I mean, these are really little things. It's just a matter of getting people to like move on. In the meantime, my consultant, Matt, is helping me line up consultants to do the due diligence. So we have some people hired and kind of waiting in the wings. So once we get the word, we can send them out. And we went to the planning department and sat down with Tony and Laura, their name, and had a discouraging talk with them.
He doesn't want to hold out big hope.
Amen. We make it through the planning process. So,
But that's what involved the builder's concerned about working with planning. He's very rigorous.
very rigorous. Tony cuts nobody in slack, especially not another city department, believe me. And,
Well, because you should be held to the same standard as everybody
oh,
else.
no, not the same, higher.
Just an example.
Yeah, so anyway, we started that process and we've hired a person that will be doing a traffic study. Is that right? Like a structural engineer, a traffic study person, huh?
Comments? Is it different?
I can't remember.
Yes,
I don't think so.
okay.
I don't think so.
Get it through Nancy, or do you get the name through somebody else?
We've got the names of the architects, and they're all standard people.
There's only a couple.
Yeah, there are only a couple.
Nancy Case, that one that we kind of always use.
I don't have to go through her though, so, or anything. I mean, she certainly hasn't offered for me to go through her. Not her baby. So, yeah, for sure. So,
Planning would be more. Planning, all that stuff.
yeah, and like so does Scott. I mean, he was going through the whole process too. So anyway, we're lining those things up so that, you know, when we're ready, we can go ahead and get started on it. But yeah, the planning process is, I'm not sure how it's going to be with the neighborhood, but just the planning department itself is, you know, it's just going to be interesting because, you know, and it feels like they make it harder than it needs to. I mean, I think we all have felt that way with planning before. I'm married to a planner. I understand why planning exists, you know, but being at the other end of it, where I have to follow all the rules and go through all the hoops, you know, so he's trying to explain to me, well, we should do this master plan thing, and I'm going, but we don't know what the master plan is. You know, I don't want to sit and talk to the commissioners for hours on end, meeting after meeting after meeting, to try to figure out, even though we can change it, what the master plan of that whole lot might be, you know? Let's see the phased approach, you know, you can't, let's not do that, right? But if you did a master plan, then some of the improvements that you're going to be called upon to do could be done later. But if you don't do a master plan, see, so that's what they're trying to educate me in all these little things.
Yeah, but if you do the master plan, that's where I think we run into more issues
I-
over zoning.
And that's what we decided, you know, talking about it with Tony and Maura and everything. It just, I was like, oh, that seems deadly to me. Yeah,
That's the preparation for the future funding.
yeah, exactly. So that's where we are. That's where we are with that.
Well, even if you don't have a master plan, are you kind of getting in your mind what would be included in each phase?
For the
Because,
future?
yeah, what's the absolute that we have to have in the first phase and what we can put off for second or third or whatever it is?
Unless you get through phase one first.
Well, you have to decide what you're gonna do in phase one, which means that, like a shopping list.
You know, your shopping list, your priorities for phase one.
Well, it has to have a little bit of everything. I mean, we can't do without one thing because we don't know that phase two is, you know, look how long it took to get to phase one. So we gotta make it work as much as possible. And then, I mean, I think it would be a mistake to put too many things, you know, off.
But that's what I'm saying, you need, in effect, you can even eliminate them, but you need a list of these are the kinds of things that we will want, and then these are the priority items that will be in phase one. They'll have to egress from the parking lot will have to be somehow addressed in phase one. Maybe not expansion of the parking
And that's,
lot, but
I
egress.
think I've been thinking that I kind of need to hear from some consultants before I even know some of that, because I'm pretty concerned about that kind of, you know, what kind of money that's gonna suck up, those kinds of things, you know, that won't then be able to go into the building. So,
So when they do the traffic study,
that will tell us a lot. The traffic study will. So, I'm kind of looking forward to that, not really, you know, thinking that, oh, it's gonna hurt somebody, you know, pulling the Band-Aid off or something, yeah. So that's what's going on. I've just actually been kind of in denial about the planning part.
What's the timeline for the traffic study if you hired the consultant?
Well, once they get started, 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah. That's what they've told us. So, but we can't exactly let them just, you know.
Feeling serious your due diligence and you get started.
So anyway,
How's the staff doing with the building and their parking and their needs?
one a day. Some days they're very needy.
Is there anything as the board that we can help things run smoother?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's at this point, it's like a lot of little things that just either need to get done or like we need to recognize that they're not mountains, they're just molehills, you know, one or the other. So we're having a staff meeting tomorrow, and I mean, you know, it's kind of funny because people act like a lot of things have changed, and like a lot of things really haven't changed, our processes and stuff, but some people are finding that hard to remember. So, yeah, I'll let you know after the staff meeting tomorrow.
I just keep telling them they're thriving in the sunlight.
I know.
They don't look like little moles anymore.
Yeah, thank you. I like that. I like that a lot.
What was the carryover on this 1.64 million?
You know what? I don't know that yet. I will find out for next month. Yeah, I haven't done my figures yet on that. Definitely want to know that.
This was the 14th, it just ended 2 weeks ago.
I know. Yeah, but we should have most of that. You all know by now. So, but it was going to be relatively substantial, but we did run into some costs with consultants and moving and blah blah blah, more than I expected, even with the help.
Are you able to somehow divide it between what's Carnegie costs and what?
Yeah, I've got all that separated. It was in my mind. Yeah.
It's just because people want to look back and say, you know,
Yeah.
it costs this much, and so that might be a competition.
Yeah. Well, yeah, one day I just like made folders for everything and labeled one Easton and one Carnegie and just, you know, because it was just kind of all blending there for a while, just, you know. Yeah, and you know, and at the Carnegie, I mean, we had to get in somebody to put in the ADA door for into the children's room. We had to do some key stuff.
wasn't there?
No. They did for like, you could get to the restrooms, but you can't get to the elevator
Oh,
unless you can open the door yourself. And I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. So, I mean, that was like hundreds of dollars. You know, so things like, yeah, we started having quite a few small little contracts. We had to put in a built-in desk, you know, for checking area, that kind of thing that, you know, they're just not going to have. So, yeah, I have to sort that. So, yes, I can do that.
Anything other?
Other? I think I've already spilled all my nuts. All my other nuts, too.
The Friends of the Oregon City Library report.
Well, we didn't have a meeting today, however, I would say that, let you know that the Friends took the library staff out to lunch and said thank you and just take a breath type of, so we went over whether it's for about an hour and a half, and Karen suggested it, I thought it was a good suggestion, even though she had missed the meeting before, and we said, we'll look at something, but it was good to do while the library was still closed, and as much as the staff could go.
Yeah, it
It
was
was
wonderful. The staff really enjoyed it, and it was very much needed. It was a good little shot in the arm. Yeah.
Last day work was done, we got them out of the house.
Yeah, and so I want you to at least know that things like that are happening. Karen, did you want to give any numbers for this or? No.
Roughly off the top of my head, yes. Actually, last month was very good for the bookstore and very, very, very good for the gallery. And the bookstore's net was about 4,300.
That's not the same, Karen. That's not net.
Or gross, sorry. Gross. So we're continuing to do good. We thought we were slipping a little when the mall closed, but we seem to be coming back pretty steadily.
It goes really up and down. Sunday I sold $7.50 worth, and yesterday Carolyn sold $325 worth.
That's amazing.
And I came in on Monday, she called me and asked me for something that the place was hopping. There must have been 20 people in there, so.
Well, and then 5 minutes later, it was being empty. But it's fine. The library, they come in batches, it's like everybody says, should we go to the bookstore right now, together, whether we know one another or not?
Well, you know, when you go to some store or something, that's when it happens. There's somebody that starts that's
Is the trolley make a difference? The trolley showing?
Charlotte's House over at McLaughlin House. So, it,
Over there and across the street.
And
by
I'm
the
just
Pioneer
wondering,
Center.
right,
Yeah.
this would be more topic brought up and.
you know, it may, I mean, people obviously will see it going by because the trolley does come by, so,
you're in the front. So.
yeah.
I'm curious,
May or may
I'm
not,
not spending
but
time if there's a difference in.
it's hard to kind of pin down. We don't real new customers find out how to notice this. But we are not open for the first Friday over the summer because there's music and other things going on down on Main Street, and since all the artists are involved, we decided that there wasn't any particular value in staying open for the extra hours. However, last Saturday, we had an artist reception because every 3 months they're going to change the show out. So they did a reception on Saturday for their feature artists and to kind of, feature the new artists. It was mostly artists, but Longhouse, up by Mike's, also had an open house and had artists out on the sidewalk. So it was kind of a soft beginning to the second Saturday that some of us are sort of talking about, to have 7th Street focus more on that second Saturday and leave First Friday to Main Street. So we're going to work on that more.
Weatherford's was very nice and gave us 25% off a meal for the coupons for the artists, for the attendees at the reception, and we still have a few. It was very nice of them because they want to make sure that they're being included in anything second Saturday.
Definitely. Good.
You want to put some artists out on the lawn if we know the weather's going to be nice?
If you know ahead of time.
Yeah.
And we've been picking up several new volunteers that are doing a wonderful
Good.
job, so that's very nice.
Great.
Okay, foundation report. Krista, hi.
Brenda and I met, and we kind of came up with a couple ideas, but it looks like the first task is going to be to get the website organized and get some, just a starting place that we can recognize different people that are involved in volunteering in like Weatherford, for example, and just different start recognition going. So that's kind of our first task.
Where are you hosting the website?
We haven't.
Okay. The Friends have a website that we could just add you on to and I could give you access to, because as long as we're paying for it, there's no reason for the foundation to pay for anything else. But
Just has a separate section.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It would also show people that we coordinate well.
Oh, that'd be good.
So
Might as
we're
well do
almost
that.
100% overlap.
basically all you need to do is go in on your own and create a new domain name and register it. And just as I'm saying that, I'm going to need to talk to the treasurer first because I need to get that off my credit card. So we'll need to switch it over so it connects with one of the Friends accounts. It's unlimited size, so when Dan gets back, I'll talk to her about some of the finances.
Okay. New business. Any library board member has something that new or different to share? Okay. And the next regular meeting date would be August 11th. Is there any feeling for taking a vacation, or are we? Quite often you don't have one of the meetings in the summer,
Summer.
unless you have something coming up, Mo, that you feel like you're going to need to report, how far along you'll be in any of the
Yeah, and anything else.
planning stuff.
No, we won't be that, I mean, we might be in the due diligence phase, but even if that started today, we have 60 days, you know, so. And I could definitely email you guys and let you know when that starts. I mean, I will email you guys and let you know when that starts, because that will start.
You're very good at the emails, I know.
Then I move that we cancel the August 11th meeting and, have the next one in September.
Where are we going to start some community input on what the library should be, and are we waiting until
I'm
at
gonna,
least looking half the building?
I'm gathering input on kind of like designs of input things.
Well, I know, but weren't you at one point, we're gonna have some user groups?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking to Scott and Nancy Krushauer about like what they've done in the past when they have like a design project, and just to kind of see what's kind of been city practice
Okay.
when there's design things going on, because I know I would like community input, definitely. So yeah, I mean,
Do you anticipate that any of that would need to be started before September, being how you have 60 days for due diligence?
no, because this is the remodel stuff, and I mean the remodel is still months out there. You know, it should be fine.
Okay, so there is a motion on the floor that we do not have the August 11th meeting, instead our next meeting would be whatever the second Wednesday is in September. Is there a second to the motion? All in favor? Okay, we will not see one another in August. We will see you all in September. Oops. I think I'm in Chicago.
Darn.
I think I'm on a train on the way to Chicago.
In September.
So we will have to really bug Phil to make sure that he makes an appearance to run the meeting. I'm getting a lot of practice for that year. Meeting adjourned at 5:26.